So welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show, episode 60. It's exciting, 60, the big 6-0. All right, so I only have about 3 questions to go over. So please, if you guys have questions, now's the time to put them down. I don't want to be the first time ever that we end a Instagram live early. So throw as many questions in the chat as you can, and I'll try to get to all of them. Last week, you guys definitely saved me because I had about 10 minutes left over, and we filled in that time. All right, so first one we have is, okay, Diego, welcome back. And this question it's a little bit more difficult to answer. It's not really a puppy question, but we're gonna answer it because you've been loyal, Diego. You've been here many times. We want to answer as many questions as we can for you. So I know this is geared towards younger puppies, but I hope you can help. My 1.5-year-old mini golden doodle does not like my daughter's 3-month-old golden retriever. Last night she snapped at her and bit her ear. We didn't pull back quickly enough while they were outside just to be around each other. The puppy is okay, but it did bleed. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm at my wit's end. All right, Diego, this is a challenging one because I know that we've had you on previous questions. I think he's done. Bye, Kingston. He's done. All right. So Diego, I know we've had you on previous questions. And by the way, guys, our mics kind of cut out a little bit last week. So if you guys can't hear me clearly, please throw it in the chat. Ricky will read it and she'll try to fix it up. All right. Diego, you've asked a few questions before, kind of relating to the same thing. And now it sounds like we've hit some form of escalation that Kingston, come back. Bye, Kingston. Sorry. He wanted to go, guys. I'm sorry. He didn't want to be here. All right. So now you've hit an escalation. Your dog is now nipped at the other dog hard enough to bite the ear and make it bleed. So it sounds like you've hit a pretty solid form of escalation. When I hear of something like this means that we are probably still giving too much freedom to the older dog to be around the younger dog or the younger dog to invade your older dog's boundaries. Most 1.5-year-old dogs, most dogs that are no longer puppies, and honestly, puppies stop being puppies at about 8 to 10 months old because the maturity hits that one of the final stages. And now you have a younger dog that is now an adult dog. They don't want to play with the same dogs that they did before. What that basically means is that you still have to create those boundaries. That might mean that anytime they're playing, I'm always out there. If I know that my puppy tends to be the one that pushes the boundaries of my older dog, I need to be there with the leash on the puppy and being able to control some of that space. That doesn't mean I only advocate for the older dog, I advocate for the younger dogs as well. When puppy starts pushing the boundary and I see some obvious signs of my older dog kind of backing off, maybe lifting lip a little bit or even just perking up the ears and giving a particular look, I need to invade the space of the two dogs and create pressure on the young puppy to back the puppy off, but then also advocate for the young puppy when the older dog comes to play with them again and re-engages. You are in control of all of those dog play sessions. I have 2 dogs. One is about 2 years older than my younger one, who's 8 years old. My older one is 10. And I still know that when those 2 dogs play, they've been together for almost 4 years. But when they play, if I see the older one getting a little bit PO'd, pissed off, I need to intercept that play, back off my younger dog, who's a pity, and very high energy. Oh, we have a replacement. A lot of people are asking for Kingston. I know, Kingston's popular. His dad will love to hear that. This is Wilson. Wilson is, I think, 11 weeks old.
He's young.
He's a baby. He's a baby. Smile for the camera. There we go. That's Wilson. He's like a rag doll still. But yeah, biggest thing is you need to be able to advocate for your younger dog as well as your older dog. You've already hit a point of escalation. You've already had a situation where he did bite the younger dog. So you guys may, ouch, oh God, you brought me a biting puppy. You guys may be backtracking a little bit. So now what you're doing is you're not just letting them play in the backyard, one on leash, one off. You were doing training together on leash in a controlled setting. You were doing food work separate, but in the same room, and then eventually closer and closer until you can build relationship. You need to take a step back, eliminate the freedom, and honestly, if it comes down to it, if what I'm saying just sounds like too much, and I have a lot of people that will say, hey, Sparky, that's too much. We're not trying to get into all that. Then your mini golden doodle probably needs to be crated when the puppy's over, or the puppy needs to be created when the mini doodle's out. You need to have some kind of structure to either they don't socialize at all until that doodle, that 3-month-old doodle, becomes a lot older, more mature, of which you can kind of reintroduce the play. Can reintroduce the play like this, this dog would not play with my older dog. She would not put up with any of that. But that would tell me right away that I need to advocate for my older dog space by controlling the younger puppy. So I think you guys either need to backtrack, build up more of a training regimen between the two dogs being in the same room, around the same area, and eventually maybe they'll even start coexisting. You can start walking them together on two separate sides, but that means that they can't be pulling ahead, zigzagging. There has to be control of that walk. Structure is my answer to your question. How do you help your dog, your older dog, not go after a younger dog? Control the space. Have more structure, do more training with both of them simultaneously or one-on-one, or just create them separately and they can't socialize together until the younger dog is older, more mature, and can respect your older dog's boundaries a little bit better. I know that's probably not the answer you're looking for, but there is no easy answer to that. I've worked with a lot of dogs. I've been doing this for almost 13 years. And what you just mentioned in this question is what I see a ton of times. And it only gets better when you start building more structure in the household. Outside, wherever the two dogs would exist together, you need to be in control of that situation. Okay, that got a little bit morbid. Sorry, guys. All right,
Okay.
We're good. He's chill. He's sleeping. He just wanted to get comfy. Maybe not. Okay, bye, Wilson. Bethany's better at the puppies. I have less patience. All right. My next question from KZS. What's a reasonable amount of time to expect to house train a 9-week-old German Shepherd? Okay, so I'm assuming you're asking what's a reasonable amount of time that it takes to house train a German Shepherd puppy, a 9-week-old German Shepherd puppy. A 9-week-old puppy, by the way, is only holding their bladder for probably, 9-week-old German Shepherd's probably about 15, 20 pounds. No, not even that, maybe like 15 pounds max. They could probably only hold their bladder for about an hour, and then I'd only give them about 30 minutes of free time. So I would think that you're doing that until they're about maybe 8 to 10 months old, and when the accidents there are non-existent, the structure is good, that's when I can start pulling away from the amount of time that I'm doing on the crate. To give you an idea, from 9 to 12 weeks old, I usually do an hour in the crate, 30 minutes of free time. From 12 to 16 weeks, I'll do maybe an hour and a half of crate time, 30 minutes of free time. From 16 weeks to, I don't know, maybe like, what is that, 16 weeks, that's 4 months old. From 4 to 6 months old, I'd probably do like 2 hours in, 30 minutes to an hour out. And then when they hit that 6-month-old mark, that's when I'll start giving a little bit more free time outside of the crate. I might start lifting some of the boundaries that I've set, like maybe I'll take out a baby gate, but my puppy will drag the leash around just like he has his whole life up into this point. A lot of the house training, house training isn't just about potty training. It's still about structure. I structure my pups until they're 8 to 10 months old and not making mistakes. When I got a dog that's perfect, I mean, you bring them out of the crate, you know they're never gonna make a mistake, then I'll start cutting back on the amount of spatial pressure and like baby gates and playpens and maybe even taking off that leash to see what they do. But the minute they start misbehaving again, that's your signal being like, you know what? I guess they're not ready for it because I took away the structure and now they're disobeying. Now they're getting into everything. You gotta remember, puppies and dogs in general are very impulsive. They're literally advocates to get into whatever they can because they're always going to test boundaries. That's how they find their place in the world. So we have strong boundaries. Oh, sorry guys, wait for Instagram to come back on. Good. All right. So when we have those strong boundaries, they don't need to make mistakes. A lot of what I do with puppies too is by giving them training. Imagine your puppy is this atom. It's just energy. It's like the base molecule, energy. And when it doesn't have a channel, that's the atom bomb. It explodes. That's the biting, jumping, nipping, pulling, lunging to get out the door, escaping from houses, jumping out of yards. That is when we don't have control. But the more channels you give that energy, come, sit, down, stay, heel, fetch, drop it, leave it, place. All of those channels, the energy will just start naturally feeding into it. So whenever my puppy is out of the crate, I'm going back to the house training now. Whenever my puppy is out of the crate, I want to teach some really valuable commands like place training. So they know what to do and where to use that energy when they're outside of the crate, not in the playpen, and they're on that leash. I'll teach a really solid come. I'll do 10 to 50 repetitions every single day for at least one meal of teaching dog's name, come, walk backwards to build momentum, good treat, and then walk away, let them get distracted, and then call them again. 2-3 pieces of kibble at a time just to build up that response so your dog knows that when you call, they come. Things like that is how I house train a puppy. I give my very basic form of come, which is the relationship building exercise that I just mentioned. I give place command, which teaches them to exist in a single area on command until you release them, which is our calm on command. And then I give very, very strict structure when they're a little baby. And I know a lot of people ask me about Sparky. I get a puppy because I want to play with them. I want to spend time with them. My kids are super energetic. They always want to spend time with that puppy. Whenever he's out of the crate, I know it seems harsh. I know it even sounds mean to some people. But under controlling your puppy means that you're going to give them more opportunity to get into trouble. The more you do with your puppy, the better they're going to be. And when you hit a adolescent 8-month-old dog who's basically not testing as many boundaries, it's because you did the hard work in the beginning. It's a short-term loss for a long-term gain. You have a puppy that you're going to have for the next 14 to 15 years, hopefully. And that first 6 months to a year does seem like a lot, but it gets you worked up to the point to where you don't have to work as hard when they're older because they know what to feed into the schedule. They knew what kind of energy you expect from them on a daily basis. All right, I over-explained that one. But I only have 3 questions. Yes, please DM us for a schedule. Thank you, Ricky. And also check out the online school because there's a lot of great information. We have schedules on that. We have workshops on it to where you can, basically everything I just mentioned, all are broken up into detail. And we have our 8 actual classes that goes over every single command that you could possibly imagine teaching your puppy.
And we have questions coming in.
I love it. I got one more and then we're going to get to your questions, guys. From Amanda Ingram. What treats do you use for a small pup or for such a small pup? This is for the calm your puppy down after exercise with this routine.
Well, from our YouTube video.
Do you remember what dog it was?
Remember what dog it was?
Yeah. She says with such a small dog, with such a small pup.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just assuming a small pup, maybe like a 4-pound Yorkie. So my little one likes tripe treats, but they're too stinky to keep in a treat pouch. I agree with that. And all others I find seem to be too big for multiple treats during a training session. Most of the treats you find will be a little bit too big. There's not many brands that have high quality treats that I would want to feed my puppy that makes them small enough. But what I do is I like the real meat treats. I know the beef ones are the most commonly bought ones, but I like the venison ones because they break up a little bit easier. And what these treats do is you can break them up into little itty bitty squares. So I can take a single treat that's maybe an inch, like a square inch, and I can take that and break it up into 20 pieces for a small dog. Most of your puppies aren't actually chewing a treat unless it's too big and they have to chew it to swallow it. But most dogs will take the treat, and if it's the right size, they'll just swallow it. They're not chewing it. They don't need a big piece. You just want to give them something to taste, swallow, and then move on. So you don't want to give like a milk bone, which is a really large treat. They got to chew it, crunch it down, and swallow it. Because in the time it takes them to chew that treat, you've already lost your moment. When I'm doing training, I want rapid commands. Dog, come, good, treat, break, walk away. Dog, come, good, treat, break, walk away. Come, sit, good treat, down, stay, good treat, break for a treat, and then walk away. I want to be able to give 3 to 4 treats all under 10 seconds, especially when we're training a new puppy who needs instant gratification in order to keep their focus on you. When I have adult dogs or even puppies that are 6 to 8 months old, it's sit, good, and I pause. And then I treat. I'm looking for more eye contact. I'm looking for more duration, more distance, more distraction before rewarding it. But for young, tiny puppies, I want to have 20 really itty bitty treats so I can give instant rewards the minute I get a command. Sit, the butt hits the ground, good treat. Come, the minute they get to me, good treat. Down, the minute their elbows touch the ground, good treat, and then release them for a break. So the smaller the treat, real meat is my way of getting that, and we do real meat for a lot of our puppies. Most of our owners usually bring in treats like that, or Wellness Puppy is also a really good brand. They're really soft treats. They come in little squares about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger. It's easy to pinch off a little piece. But I don't know too many treats on the market that you're not going to have to tear off. And if you don't like tearing the treats, it's just not your style to get, maybe it gets in your nails or something, you can cut them ahead of time, take maybe 20 big treats and make 400 little treats, put them all in a bag, and now you have treats for the next 2 months to work your puppy with. Perfect. Okay, give me questions, Ricky. What do we got?
From Shane Believable. You have to repeat it.
Say it again.
Shane Believable. Keep it off the board. Puppy can only be on hydrolyzed puppy food for the next 6 weeks. No treats. How can we train him properly without treats? We have tried his food, we have tried his toys, bones, all the things. And there's a follow-up.
Okay, so we have a puppy. I'm gonna paraphrase a little bit. We have a puppy that is on hydrolyzed food. I've had probably about 8 dogs in the last year and a half beyond that type of food, And it can be a pain in the butt because it's not the tastiest food, so dogs don't want to really take it as a treat. That can be challenging. How do we get our puppy to train without training treats? So anything is a training treat, guys. Anything can be that. If I have a puppy that doesn't want to eat their food as training treats, that might mean that the value of the food isn't high enough. That doesn't mean we have to do anything to the food to make it high enough. That just means my puppy has to be hungry enough to eat it. I am not saying starve your puppy. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is maybe skip one meal, maybe their lunch that day, and for their dinner, pull out the kibble, break it up nice and small. You might even need to crunch it up a little bit smaller so they can eat it quickly. And then take that food and start using it as your training treat. When a dog becomes hungry enough, they will eat the food. But also let me ask you this. Let's say that I have a dog that's 4 months old. It's a 25-pound dog and maybe they're getting a quarter cup of kibble per meal. I might take that kibble, and if they're only eating half of that quarter cup, I don't replenish the full quarter cup on the next meal. I take that quarter cup they didn't eat, or maybe they had half of that quarter cup. I take an eighth of a cup and I give them the same eighth of a cup for their next meal. After doing that for a day or two of them literally getting the same meal until they finish it, they're gonna get much hungrier because they're realizing they're only eating half of what they were eating before. It takes away the pickiness of some dogs and helps them understand that what we put on the table, that is what they have to eat. I can even give you an example. My dog, 10-year-old dog, very high appetite, but once a year, she usually goes 3 to 4 days without eating. It's just how she is. She's a stubborn dog. I give this dog pretty good food. I give her raw meat every single day. Like, I go out and I buy it at a store. It's a balanced formula, so I know it's not malnutrition or anything. She just gets tired of it. But I will literally wait her out. I'll give her a meal in the morning. Whatever she doesn't finish, that becomes her dinner. Throw it away at the end of the night, and usually by the 3rd or 4th day, she looks at that food, looks at me, and gobbles it up. That's how I give value to food instead of playing this switch it up game to where I give her 30 different types of food, upsets her stomach, and then she doesn't want to eat any of them. You have to give value to food. The best way to do that is for training. So take your dog out, save a meal. If I know I'm going to take a walk in 10 minutes, I won't give them breakfast. I'll walk them and feed them their breakfast on the walk. For every 10 steps, ask for a sit, good handful of food. They don't want it, that's okay. They skip that meal, that becomes their dinner, and I'll do the same exact thing. If they can't go outside yet, I'll do all of the training inside, but I'll be doing the same thing. Come, good, treat. They eventually start eating the food, good, and now you have food drive towards the food that they have to eat. Okay, you say there was a follow-up question for that one?
Just saying how much he loves the treats and thrives on treats.
Same dog?
And he said you already
Same
know.
owner?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be hard, but guys, honestly, your dog is already used to treats. It might take you 2 or 3 days to get him off of the treats and onto the hydrolyzed food. He's got a taste of the good stuff. It's just like when I had to kick McDonald's, start eating vegetables. Ugh, gross vegetables. But my girlfriend fed him to me long enough and starved me for the other 3 days to where I kind of eventually started to have to eat them. You're doing a similar process. You're helping them understand that the food, the kibble, is just as good as the treats because we're not going to use any more treats and all you have access to is the kibble. Next question.
Wilson and Lilycoy.
Wilson Lilycoy, I like it.
I have a 9 and 1-year-old golden. They are on different kibble. What do you think about feeding them homemade food? Example, chicken, vegetables, and rice.
Okay, 9-year-old and 1.5-year-old doodle, you said?
Golden.
Golden doodle?
I think they're just golden. Leave it on the floor.
Golden retrievers, all right. And so she's asking, what about kicking off the kibble and then going to homemade food? I think that's great. If you have time and if you have the means to do it, that's awesome. It is hard work. There's a company around here called Just Food for Dogs. They basically are one of the leading sellers of homemade food around this area. You can buy it. They have certain formulas and they have like make your own formulas at home to where you can buy the base mix and just add the protein to it. And there's a ton of nutritional value that goes into making a meal. Like I can't just go home, make up peas and some vegetables and stuff, cook them up and then give them to my dog with some chicken and rice. There's more to it. You got to make sure you're giving the right minerals and nutrients. Otherwise, your dog will eventually get malnourished from missing certain key nutrients. That's why when I said I give a raw meat, I don't just go to the store and buy beef, and even though my dog would love it because it's probably a little bit higher quality, but I go to a store-bought formula that's already well regulated. It's got vegetables, it's got minerals, it's got nutrients. Some of those you got to add. They don't even come in the vegetables. To give you an idea, like there's another company called Texas Tripe, and it's all raw meat. They literally have to add hearts, like liver, they got to do spleen. They have to add all these grinded up parts of the animal into this formula to make sure it's a well-balanced formula. They add vegetables, they add different proteins, they add different supplements, because there's a lot of work that goes into making your own dog's food. If you have the time, there's books you can get. Check those out, make sure you're adding all the right nutrients, or get a store-bought formula, try to get the base mix, just add the protein, and you probably could do the same thing for maybe even a third of the work. But yeah, do your research. I don't know exactly what goes into the homemade formula because I've always bought food, but I am kind of a dog nutritionist since I've been doing it for a long time, and I've done a lot of research on it. But it is difficult to make your own dog's food. Do your research. That way your puppy doesn't become malnourished, or your adult dog puppy, whatever it is. Next question.
From Becca S. Jacobs. Hi, thanks for all your help. Our 9-month-old Labradoodle has started barking and people and other dogs when on the leash. How do we fix this?
Okay, so that sounds like a little bit of reactivity. So, yeah, sorry. You guys can't hear Ricky. Okay, so we have a 9-month-old golden doodle.
Labradoodle.
Man, I just want everything to be a golden doodle today. Labradoodle, it's because I just trained a whole bunch of golden doodles. So, 9-month-old Labradoodle, on the walk, the dog has started becoming, she didn't say this, but the dog is becoming reactive with the barking, no lunging, right? Just barking?
Barking at dogs and people.
Barking at dogs and people. So, let me go over reactivity. Whenever people hear that, it's kind of a buzzword in the dog training community because people hear that, they go, no, my dog's not aggressive. Reactivity doesn't necessarily mean aggression. There's aggressive reactivity, which is a whole different can of worms, a whole different conversation that we wouldn't have right now. But just normal reactivity means that maybe your dog has been able to say hi to people in the walks. Maybe we have them on harness, they have led a little bit ahead of you, and I'm not saying your dog does, I'm just giving a general example, and I'll give a few other ones too. Maybe my dog has been allowed to walk ahead of me, and they've been allowed to say hi to people, say hi to dogs. And then as my dogs started getting older and stronger, I've had to prevent them because they were pulling me to people. So I start avoiding them on my walks. But now my dog has kind of had a taste of the good stuff, being able to say hi to dogs and people whenever it wanted to. So now you might even be getting a form of demanding, barking towards the people and the dogs, being like, hey, get over here and say hi to me. I want to say hi to you. So how do I help you with that? How do I kind of contradict what the dog is already doing and kind of revert the thinking process? Anytime I see a dog, I want to start building up more food drive outside. And by the way, my first suggestion would be hire a private dog trainer who does balanced dog training to come to your home that will work with you, because this can be a really hard issue. If you guys want to tackle it on your own, my advice would be build up my food drive. I need to start working my dog below threshold. Anyone that's come back, anyone that's heard me before has heard me say that a lot. Threshold is a dog's mental threshold that when they work up to the threshold, they get excited, kind of shaky, hyper-focused and starting to move towards the dog. When they are above threshold, that could be lunging to play, lunging to attack, jumping to say hello, barking to get another dog's attention. That means they're above threshold. We cannot work a dog when they hit above threshold, especially if you're on a harness. You might even need some kind of training tool, which you can do some research on that, hire a private trainer to help you out with that. But when you're above threshold, you need to get your butt out of that situation. I see my dog looking at a dog that's slightly below threshold. That's when I have my food pouch on the same side as my dog. Food to the nose, dog, let's go, move in the opposite direction. Get far enough away to where the dog has stopped looking and barking at the other dog or human. When they start looking to you, good. Give a handful of food. You need to work them in the area that you just found that's far enough away from the distraction where they're not even looking at it, and you will be constant grabbing food. There needs to be at least 2 treats in your hand at all times. Hand in the pouch, dog come, good food, pouch, food again. Dog sit, good treat, pouch, food. Come, good treat. You're redirecting the focus away from your distraction. As you do this more and more, your value increases, and eventually you'll be able to get closer and closer to another dog. You may never be able to walk up to another dog on harness and be able to get your dog to sit and calmly and fully relax around those dogs. You just may not have that type of dog. But what you can start doing is you can start seeing dogs maybe 20 feet away. Your dog looks and you see the ears go from down, down, down to boop, up and pointed towards the dog. Golden retrievers, they don't lift their ears too much. It's kind of more of just like a twitch in the direction of forward. When I see that, damn it, what's up with the golden retrievers? It's my head. Labradoodle, same thing. Ears are pretty much the same as the golden doodle. Or golden retriever. They're gonna perk up and move forward. That's when I see that. That is my precursor. That is my precursor to my dog is about to bark. or pull, or lunge to go say hello, food to the nose, redirect around a car, bubble out, avoid that situation, hit the other side of the car. As the dog passes by, you start moving forward, almost like you're going parallel with a boundary in between, which is that car. Move around, good food, and keep on walking. Good food, keep on walking. You're basically trying to keep the focus on you so the dog doesn't hyper-focus on the distraction, whether it be person or dog. This also means that maybe you guys can't do your walks on the sidewalk. Maybe you can't do your walks in a park. Maybe you need to do the next 2 months of walking in your backyard, front yard, and the sidewalk in front of your house, until your dog is so focused on you that you are like the center of their universe when it comes to you bringing out food. We have a dog currently in our program. His name is Ziggy. He's a big golden retriever. I know, golden retriever. That's where my brain is right now. He is a big golden retriever. He's probably about maybe 55 pounds. He's got big paws, monster paws. He'll be probably 85, 90 pounds by the end of his growth period. And the mom literally has a food pouch on all the time. All of our lessons are done in low stimulation environments, and she will probably be doing that between now to the next 18 to 24 months. 18 to 24 months, guys, that is a long time. It takes a lot of focus and food work to keep focus on you when you're in busy scenarios. So she worked backyard, front yard, low stimulation environment of a park, the sidewalk in front of her house, and she is just now starting to venture out away from her house to walk 5 houses down. She sees a dog, she sees a person or a dog. She doesn't watch the person or the dog. She literally sees that and goes, boom, head to the dog, because she wants to say, what is my dog doing when I see a distraction? It's not about the distraction, it's about what my dog does with it. She sees the ears perk up, food to the nose, Ziggy, come, good, let's go, walk in the opposite way, away from the other dog, and every 3 or 4 steps, good, handful of food, good, handful of food. She works her dog for every single meal, whether it's training inside the house, walking outside of the house, because it is hard to get a dog that is showing any type of reactivity to focus on you in these distraction settings. Okay, I beat it to the bush. So try it out for a week, guys. Come back next week. Please give us another question. We'd love to hear about it. Post the question, type it up and send it to us, because with Bethany here, her and I will talk for an hour straight. We will not get to these questions on the chat. I already know how her and I am. I talk fast. She regulates me a lot more. So throw it into the chat, whatever you can, and then we'll always go over if it's on the paper. All right, what else we got?
From Links and Scooby-Doo, what age do you recommend getting a dog neutered?
Oh, God. Vets everywhere are cringing.
Repeat it.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That's my thing. So, what's the age?
They're asking, what age do you recommend getting a dog neutered?
What age do you recommend getting a dog neutered? Any vets watching this, this is a huge controversial item with a ton of vets. I'm going to give you some of the most generalized information, and then I'm going to try to kind of relate it maybe to a couple different breeds. So,
disclaimer, we're not vets.
Yeah, disclaimer, I am not a vet. All I know is that I work with 30 different dogs a day, and I do hear a lot of different information from vets. So I'm going to give you the most generalized, as in like if we did every vet would say this, this, and this, and I combine all the information. Most of the time, 8 to 12 months old for male dogs, or 12 to 18 months old for labs of any sort. Most labs get neutered very late because there's something about they can get cancer if they get neutered too early. Female dogs, different though. Female dogs after the first heat cycle, because the estrogen that they gain from that first heat cycle prevents some form of bone cancer they get, and it also gives the calcification of the bones, so the bones are stronger to prevent some of that bone cancer. So first heat cycle for females, unless your vet says differently, and then usually 8 to 12 months for most male dogs, and then 12 to 18 months for most labs.
But consult your vet.
But consult your vet. That is my disclaimer. Because a lot of vets have a lot of different things to say, and I don't want to step on any toes. Yes, I do. I step on all the toes. Okay. Any other questions? I think TikTok has one. I got one more, Ricky. Come on.
They just sent you flowers.
Oh, you guys are so nice. Okay, guys. No more questions. I think we're just about to hit the 30. Thank you guys for joining. Hopefully we'll have Beth in here next week. You guys got to be getting bored of just me. But, yeah. See you guys next week, guys. Take care. Bye. Awkward smile time.